So if you're a pro house cleaner, you are so needed. You can be self-employed. You don't need to work for a company that is going to, take part of your wage. I show you a lot of the things to do to clean things in my videos. If you want to work for yourself, have that flexibility, choose your hours, be a pro house cleaner, go for it. All you need to do is want to make the world of somebody else better. You can make a decent wage from it. So Jennifer asks, what did a typical cleaning job entail? I know you said you didn't cut corners with your clients. Does that mean you always were doing deep cleaning such as baseboards, ceilings, and walls? Okay, so number one, I don't cut corners. You clean every bit of a room that you notice is dirty. So if those baseboards are dirty, then you want to get them because they're very noticeable. It's something that, you really notice when you go into a room, especially something like a bathroom. It's a small room. You have time to maybe sit and contemplate, and yeah, that stuff's really noticeable. You may not have to do walls each and every time, but if you notice some dirt on the walls and that sort of thing, then yes, you give it away. What I did tell her was that it's better to clean one room really well than to clean 5 poorly. You need to go for those clients that are going to appreciate the level of clean that you provide. Just do your best. Each time that you go in, you'll get further and further along. You do need to be realistic. Big houses can't usually be done all in one day. If they have not been done in a while, it's just impossible. So just be realistic with what you can accomplish in a day, and try to get the time that you need is required to do a job well. I noticed you don't do a lot of dry dusting. Is that not necessary if you are using a wet cloth? Find that if you're doing dry dusting, it's just gonna sweep the dust around. You're just gonna land it somewhere else. Using a damp cloth will allow the dust to stick to it, and then you can rinse your cloth. I usually use Dr. Bronner's in the water. There are very few things that cannot be washed. A lot of people are afraid to put anything damp on certain things. Use your discretion. There are some things, maybe some hand-painted things and that sort of thing, that you want to avoid. For the most part, though, things can be washed with a cloth. You have to be careful. Use your discretion, but if you're just going to dust it around and it's going to land on something else, then you're not going to see the same kind of results. And you'd be surprised. I used to work for a flood and fire restoration company. We used to dunk a lot of things that you would never think you could dunk. As long as they are dried out properly, it's amazing how you can get the little dusts out of areas in, say, a porcelain kind of figurine or something like that. You have to use ultimate care with these things. Ask a client, what don't you want me to touch? Is there special things? And then that way you can avoid any kind of issues. A damp cloth on things generally isn't going to do any harm. You can test in an inconspicuous area too. What do I clean leather surfaces with? I haven't had to clean a lot of leather, thankfully. I think that it depends on your client. Sometimes they really have some sort of a cleaning product that they have used that they know works. And my suggestion would be to ask your client if there's something they prefer. I have used Dr. Bronner's on a very damp cloth to wipe certain leathers. Not all leathers are the same, and it can vary. So you really have to be careful with that. Do a test spot again on inconspicuous area. If at all you're concerned, that might be a time to just use a vacuum with a brush attachment to get dust. Don't do something that you don't know how to do. Avoid it. And even after all the years that I have done pro house cleaning, there are certain things that I still haven't cleaned or haven't come across. Jennifer also asks, did you do laundry services or other services? I have done laundry for people in their own home. I've never gone above and beyond taking it to a laundromat or taking it home to do, but if they want me to do laundry in their home, I don't have a problem with that. Some people will have special clothing. Again, you have to watch your tags and things like that to make sure you don't do any shrinkage or anything. Yeah, I've done lots of other services other than just laundry, Perhaps some elderly people will want you to prepare a meal for them, or perhaps there might be some gardening work that they can't do. It just depends on the scope of your skills and what you choose to take on. I do so many different things. Because I'm a house cleaner, sometimes that opens me up to different skills that I can use for the same people. For instance, I just did a painting job, I've done a flooring job. There are many things that I do outside of just house cleaning, but house cleaning is a really great avenue to open up other areas that you might have skills in. So I recommend utilizing all your skills and marketing them through your favorite clients, and then that way perhaps when times are, you know, not as messy in somebody's life, then maybe you can tackle something else for them and keep yourself well employed. Both Megan and Jennifer have asked me, how do you decide on fees? Flat hourly rate or per job? Would you walk through before giving prices? Yes, I would definitely want to walk through before giving prices, because one person may say, oh, my house is really clean, it's really clean, and then you get there and it's like, no, it's not. I'm sorry, but your idea of clean and mine are different. So keep in mind that just because they say, oh, it barely needs anything, doesn't mean that it barely needs anything. And I think that people tend to kind of say that it's better than it is. So I like to see a place before I give any price, any rate. I never give a rate per job. I don't say, oh, the whole thing will cost you $400 for that move out. Because you don't know how much time it's going to take until you get into the nitty gritty. You can find some pretty gross things after a while. You can open up a cupboard and go, oh, gee, what died in there? Stick to an hourly rate. And when you go in, if you see that it's a lot of work and that every nook and cranny is just needing work, then go high. You know, in Canada, a move out rate for me, I just try to avoid them altogether. But for something that is really quite intensive as far as the work goes, where I'm going to have to really do a lot of physical labor and a lot of hours, nitty gritty, terrible stuff, go high, like go $40 an hour. $30 an hour is a rate that is for a very light house cleaning, really. Now, it depends on where you live, because every country, town, they might have different sort of ideas of what a reasonable rate is. You don't want people that are just going to try to lowball you anyways. Those aren't the kind of clients you want. Get somebody that appreciates the hard work that you're putting in and that you do it properly. Just make sure that you get paid for your worth and for your value. It is a job that is very hard. It's hard on your body. Vacuuming is not an easy thing to do, you know, for hours at a time. Climbing ladders, windows, you know, scrubbing, carpal tunnel. Think about the long-term things, you know, because now I'm 55 and I think about the things that I have wrong with me now because of all of those years of working hard. So try not to overdo it on your body. Don't overprove yourself. Do a great job, but try to mix up the things that you're doing. So if you're doing this for too long, stop doing that. Maybe vacuum for a while. Try to give your limbs a break, and don't do everything all at once in the same motions. It is something that is physically hard, and people don't really think about how hard it is when you're doing it day after day after day. Make sure that you get what you're worth. Remember when you're pricing too, that you have expenses. Take those expenses into consideration. If you're paying a lot in gas to get to a job, you have to keep that in mind. And think about over time how those gas prices might go up, and you know, price accordingly. Things like Dr. Bronner's, they're expensive. They're well worth the investment, but they are expensive. So just make sure that you keep in mind all of your expenses. Is there extra tools that you need to purchase for a job? You know, do you need oven cleaner? Do you need certain things that maybe you wouldn't have to use on a regular basis? Jennifer also asks, how do you know if a job is beyond your scope and too much to do on your own? I'm glad she asked that question. I recently did a job where the amount of contents in the home were just overwhelming. It was way too much for me. And I would do something, I would move things around to make life better for my client. And then the next day I'd go back and it would be all put back. So I just knew that it was something that I was never going to see results with. I had to make a really difficult call by saying to her that I didn't think I was the right fit for the job and that I thought that she needed a team of specialists. And you know, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you can't do a job. If you want to try a job that seems overwhelming and you can do it, then fantastic. But if you find that you just feel you're not going to be able to do it, or you're just not getting any satisfaction from it, then feel free to tell your client that it's just above your scope and that you think that there's somebody better qualified for the job. Jennifer asks, what methods did you use to market yourself? Word of mouth. I just do word of mouth. I never have to advertise. It takes maybe a little while, but you'd be surprised how word of mouth works. It's sometimes quicker than any other method. If you do a good job for somebody, then it flies around and people will notice the difference in somebody's house, say, oh my gosh, it looks so great in here. You know, what happened? And they'll say, oh, I got a pro house cleaner in, and her name is Debbie, and she did a really great job. I'm really happy with her. And then all of a sudden, phone numbers are getting exchanged. If you don't have any house cleaning clients, do it for family members, do it as a volunteer basis for seniors, or for somebody that maybe has challenges and they can't do their own house cleaning. You'll find that doing one volunteer job could turn into 10 jobs that come from elsewhere. Each individual client is different. So you just have to think about the kind of people that you want to work for. Professionals, families, seniors, you know, just think about where you feel like you'd be the most comfortable, and then try to market yourself to those people by doing a volunteer job, and then let the word get out there. I don't really like to advertise online or in newspapers, because if you get a new client, you really don't know whose door you're showing up to. It could be kind of sketchy, I feel. And in this world today, you really have to be careful. So, you know, just make sure that you're not sharing too much personal information over the interweb, and that yeah, you're being really cautious in the clients that you choose. Do you use a cleaning caddy? No. I use my bucket, and I put everything in my bucket, because there's not very many things that you need as a pro house cleaner. My videos will show you that, you know, just having a bottle of Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, Ivory dishwashing soap, some cloths, a Velita bucket and mop system, like I have shown in many of my videos. Those are really crucial things, in my opinion. A squeegee, so you get those windows nice and clean. But you don't need Windex. You don't need a whole bunch of different products for each individual thing, because you really don't need that much. Take a look at my videos and you'll see how much I clean with very few things. Mr. Clean Eraser too. I find Mr. Clean Erasers very helpful. A caddy would be really cool. It would look neat. So yeah, whatever floats your boat, do a caddy. If you find something that's really good for putting your stuff in, go to town, whatever works best for you. I have definitely done enough years of pro house cleaning that I have learned a lot of the shortcuts, a lot of the ins and outs of pro house cleaning, and what to try to avoid. Please, if there's anything that I can help you with, just send me a message. Probably the best way to get in touch with me is by putting a comment down in the comment section down below. I will put some videos that might be helpful to you in the description down below as well. So please be sure to click on those. Give me a like and a share if you found anything helpful at all in this video. I certainly do appreciate it. If you want what is best for your client, then your client will definitely have mercy on you as you learn. Be an artist and change lives, and you'll feel terrific about the whole thing.
Yesterday